I discovered something yesterday, like a big thing.
What's this big discovery?
It was a discovery about arrogance.
Mm.
Because I stumbled on this Reddit post about, is it bad being arrogant? And a lot of like the comments and a lot of other people were saying how it's better to be arrogant than like insecure. Better to be arrogant than like really like humble, really like. But I don't really agree with that. I feel like whilst it's bad being insecure, I think it's as bad as being arrogant.
I would say arrogance is a way to mask insecurity, is it not?
Yeah, that is also one thing. So are they the same thing? You know.
Mm.
I know. I think there's a thin line. There's a lot of arrogance, which is insecurity,
Mm.
but there's some arrogant people that are actually just full of themselves. And
Well, I think the main difference would be arrogance versus confidence. And I think arrogance, no matter what, it's like a thin veil of insecurity that's held underneath this overreaching line of, you know, arrogance. Whereas confidence is just a belief in oneself. I feel like arrogance is never good, but confidence is something that can be positively
yeah,
used. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
But would you say arrogance is the same as confidence?
No,
No.
I think arrogance is confidence manifested in an ego that's putting itself on a pedestal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. My epiphany.
your epiphany.
My epiphany was that you need a balance.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be in the middle, and to do that, you have to kind of build up this mental structure. I just realized we should probably close that window.
The old room was much more, I don't know,
Much more.
just quaint, like
Yeah.
podcasty, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah, yeah.
mean?
I mean, this is not done yet, you know.
Yeah, obviously getting
It
the
was
bed out
just
and everything.
we just chucked everything in here.
Mm.
Again, back to the epiphany. It's in order to find a balance between having a big ego
Mm.
and having a low ego is realizing that you shouldn't compare yourself to others
Mm.
in any way. As in, if you're very arrogant, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to others to think, oh, you're better than everyone else. And because, in a way, in order to maintain that balance of the ego,
Mm.
because I think that is very, very difficult, but also very, very important. I don't think it's good if it, goes either way. I feel like you need it in the middle. You need a good ego balance.
Mm.
And to be able to do that, you need to realize that you yourself is or are a product of your experiences and your situation, whereas everyone else is a product of theirs.
Mm.
You shouldn't compare yourself to other people, because if someone has less than you and you're arrogant for that, you don't know how much other opportunities you've had. The same way, if you're insecure about your situation and someone's better than you, in the same way, you shouldn't be comparing yourself to them and be like, wow, like, I'm so useless, like, I'm not as good as this person. Like, of course, you could be better, but you need to stop being so harsh on yourself.
What's that famous quote? Comparison is the death of all joy, or something along those lines. As long as you compare yourself to other people, you'll never fully be, fulfilled, you know. Because there'll always be someone who appears to be, from an exterior point of view, better than you,
Yeah.
more attractive, more wealthy, more put together in terms of an actual, maybe family life, a social life.
Yeah.
People have to realise the value of their own individuality, I feel like, to actually come to terms with the fact that just purely existing in and of itself is such a magical experience. I mean, to be here alone, right now, it's a crazy sort of thing.
No, I agree.
Mm.
That is very true.
I mean, it's something that I've really struggled with. I mean, comparison, like
I
continually.
think everyone struggles with that.
Yeah,
It's the biggest struggle
it's
in the
innately human. I feel
Yeah.
like, wanting to be the top dog, wanting to be the
Yeah.
alpha, wanting to be perceived a certain certain kind of way.
But I feel like even people at the top, sometimes, if they're, it depends who you're comparing yourself to as well.
Mm.
Like, people create value based on comparison.
Yeah.
Let's say you don't know anything about guitars. I tell you that guitar is £300. You're like, okay, but what does that mean? How do I value that in my head? But if you know, like, a guitar that is like much worse and like costs 60 quid, you can then create that value of, okay, that is more valuable.
Therefore, it must be of a higher standard.
Exactly. And it's the same with your life. Like, if you're comparing yourself to the same kind of people in your area, but they all have more money than you, you're going to feel worse. You're going to feel less value. But if, it's the same people who have less than you, then you're going to feel more valued. You create value based on comparison and who you're comparing yourself to.
It's a strange thing.
It is. We need to stop doing it.
Although I don't think we can, really, can we? I mean,
I feel like you can.
I think it's all well and good being able to analyze your own morals and your own set of values, but
Yeah.
I feel like applying them continuously is something that, I mean, it takes a lifetime of commitment, right, to fully achieve. That's why you have people like monks who, prioritize a single goal within their life, to gain inner peace or a chi or a set of beliefs that they hold to them, that they hold so highly that that's their main aspiration, right? And there's nothing more, nothing less than that.
Do you think they ever reach it?
I think some people do.
Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's the idea of reaching a self-actualization. Does anyone ever actually reach that, or is it just happiness is the goal towards it?
Yeah, I don't think you ever truly reach your values wholly and completely. I think you can tick certain values off, but I don't think you're ever fully complete as a human being. I think there's always something more to strive towards.
Yeah.
So I think that's also part of the beauty of it, though. You're living a complete, incomplete existence.
Damn. It's deep.
Yeah.
You want to be an actor?
I do want to be an actor.
That's gonna
yes.
be tricky.
It is gonna be tricky. I mean, it's a weird thing, acting, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like it's the ability to be able to deceive, right? I mean, in essence, it's the ability to become someone else. Like, your job is to lie, to portray something that you're not.
Wow.
In an effective manner.
That is true.
And then a lot of money for doing so.
But do you think they deserve all that money for it?
Well, probably not. Although, I mean, the aspect of entertainment in and of itself, I think, is a major facet of society, something that greatly enables us to, come together in communities, watch a film, get some beers, have a group together, you go to the cinema. It's a social setting. I think it just allows people to come together, which is never not good. So in that sense, I mean, actors are really an integral part of society, but probably not worthy of the amount of money they get. But is a footballer worthy of 1.5 mil a week for kicking a ball around on the field?
Yeah, that is a good point. I think the entertainment industry is a weird thing.
It is, yeah. It's strange.
But, I don't know, they do sacrifice a lot in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, all their privacy, that gets thrown out the window.
I mean, celebrity is the new god, right? I mean...
Oh, yeah.
It's very
Everyone
strange.
looks up to them. It's crazy.
People used to pray to, Zeus, Apollo, Minerva, Juno, and now they pray to Brad Pitt. You've been working on your scripts, right?
Yeah.
How's that been going in terms of being able to, gather all the information and all the ideas that you want into a single, specific piece?
It's hard, man, because you write a basic script, and if you're recording it and you're reading it off or you're trying to remember, you're like, doesn't actually make sense. You're constantly like improving the script. It is so difficult, so much work as well.
Yeah.
Like,
I can relate because I used to write short stories and like fiction, and so you'd be constantly like going over your pieces, like, wait, I can change that aspect to make the story flow better, or oh wait, that thing I can change to make it more interesting. You know, it's being a writer. It's a difficult process.
And you want it to be perfect.
Mhm.
Most people do want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
It is difficult.
Striving for perfection.
Do you enjoy writing?
Yeah, I used to really enjoy writing. It's an outlet, you know.
Yeah.
It's a coping mechanism. You know, people have many coping mechanisms, and writing is one of them. One of the most healthiest as well.
Yeah.
You're allowed to fully pour out your soul, your entire being, and all the things that you feel and wish to say in a concise and singular piece that you yourself is allowing to, you know, come out of you. And it's only you that can read it, and it's only you that can judge you, and it's only your ideas on whatever it is that you're allowing this to be put onto, you know, whether that be a piece of paper or an electronic device or whatever.
Unless you release it, then everyone's going to be judging you.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, writing, it lasts forever, doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's an immortal kind of... I don't know, it's like you're placing pieces of yourself into immortality in a way by allowing people... I mean, take, for example, 500 years ago, you'd have people like... Oh, maybe more than that now. 600 years ago, like Shakespeare.
Yeah.
600 years ago when Shakespeare was writing his plays, could you imagine if he thought into the future now and he knew that 600 years later children would be reading his, you know, pieces and having to analyse it? No, but that's the power of words, right?
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. Everything's strange, I think.
The whole life, why are we here?
Yeah,
What the hell is going on?
Deep conversations, but yeah.
I think lately I've definitely been having that moment, that realization of like, this is like just have fun. You know, is it like, stop taking life so seriously? Like, you don't even know why you're here, and you're so serious about it.
I used to think 16, 17 was like the most weird possible time of your life, the in-between age, right? Like, not being a child but not being an adult. And now you're 19, well, 18, 19, you know, 20 next year, and I feel like it's just even stranger because society views you as an adult now, but I feel like you don't view yourself as an adult. You don't think that you're anywhere near capable of actually being able to live a life where you're like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm getting this. Like, no, you're more lost than ever, I think.
Yeah.
It's I wonder if it ever does get to the point where you're like, yeah, this is starting to make sense.
I think most people always will feel like a child. You know? Like, no one's inner self actually matures that much. Like, you don't feel, if you're like 60 years old, you still feel like you're, you know, a teenager or whatever. So I don't think that ever goes away.
Going back to the life experiences though, right? I mean, your life experiences mold you, like you were saying earlier. I feel like that does also have a strong implication onto how you are able to act within society and how you are viewed by others in terms of a maturity level and wisdom and just intelligence in general. Like, you know, if you're able to apply yourself to an educational standing, or you're able to apply yourself to street standing, you know, being street smart, or, you know, you've just seen some things in life that most people wouldn't, then I feel like all these things have various impacts on a person.
Yeah, definitely. Street smart. It's a funny word.
It is, isn't it?
I do think some people are like intelligent, but, you know, not academically. And it's a shame that not many people, because the education system, right, is designed in a way that benefits a certain group of people, whereas a lot of other people just get suppressed by it.
Yeah.
Such a if you're not good at memorization, if you're not good at taking in a lot of information at once, a lot of the things, especially at an early age, I mean, when you get to uni and, you know, pick your own subjects and everything, it gets a little different because some courses actually do use more creativity and stuff. But the foundation of the education system, like secondary school, you know,
Even A levels. You know.
even A levels.
Mm.
It's just memorization, just taking information, recalling on a piece of paper. And a lot of people get put off by that. And
I despise it, and I'm in it still. I mean, it's such a
I'm going back into it after a year of not being in it.
yeah, but I feel it's a very large leap between A levels and uni, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I left A levels and I've gone back into A levels, and I mean,
What made you go back into it then?
I went back into A levels because I saw the world for what it is. I saw the world as school. Like, school does a very good job of shielding you, for the most part, away from really the depressing sides of life, and I feel like this is something that should be addressed more in schools, to be honest, because I feel like most people leave with such a large amount of naivete towards the environment that they're going to be in once they do leave school. I think it's quite dangerous because school offers such a huge safety net for you, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's like it's a safety net, like it's always there.
That's why so many people go the traditional route.
Yeah, stick to a education and a steady 9 to 5, right? It's just a safe way.
It is a safe way.
I went back because I saw how people can really be just twisted and used and abused by the world, and I saw people.
Of education system.
Yeah, like I saw people. The majority of people that I knew when I left were mid-20s upwards. I surrounded myself with a lot of older people, and I surrounded myself with a lot of people who were on like the fringe of society. I surrounded myself with a lot of people who suffered with drugs and who'd been into prison and had really experienced this side of life that you don't really get to understand unless you actually place yourself around said environments, or you've been raised. Or you've been raised in that environment. Yeah. There's so many misconceptions and so many things that even school teaches you is so inaccurate as to how best to approach certain people and how to just treat people as people. It doesn't matter if you've been to prison. Yeah. I feel like I've known people who've been inside, and they're no worse or no better than a lot of other people that I've known. It's it's a strange thing. I feel like I'm going to keep on saying that because I still can't get my head wrapped around just all of this, life.
This podcasting is just therapy for you.
Yeah.
Just treat it as that. Don't worry about it.
I went back because I saw that to succeed, you have to use the system as it was intended to be used, essentially, don't you?
Really? No,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like to succeed, you don't have to, but it's very hard without it.
Exactly. And you know what? I'll retract what I said. It's not that it's essential to succeed. It's the easiest option to succeed. And I mean, without it and without any clear guidance on where exactly to go, I think you can get lost so easily. And I think I started to really get lost. And therefore, going back...
You grab back onto
it. Yeah, you grab back onto the safety net before
you did it just before it was too late, I feel like.
Yeah, really. Like, I was literally on the precipice of, like, no return, right? Like,
was it scary? Because you've seen the other side that I have not. I can't even imagine. I've always gone the safe route.
I don't know, because I'm such like an adventurous kind of individual. Like, throughout most of it, I was really unfazed, and I was seeing a lot of crazy things, and I was really just like, well, this is life, right? This is the experience, so I might as well experience it.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually got to a point where, I mean, I was in an environment surrounded by like the types of people that I was saying, like, even though they're not necessarily the people that you'd expect them to be from like a school understanding, they're still not, great people to surround yourself with when you're 17, 18 years old. So, yeah, I felt like I really did have to move quick, otherwise I would never be able to leave. I'd be stuck, so...
That does scare me a lot as well, just being stuck here.
Yeah. I mean, I'd hate it. I'd hate for this to be it. Like, I just want so much more.
Yeah. Well, us like humans have so much greed,
Hmm.
but I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing.
It pushes you to keep going, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's just natural.
Hmm.
Because if you think about it, like in evolution, I love evolutionary explanations for things. I feel like it is one of the most interesting things,
Hmm.
evolution. And in terms of like the greed, in terms of evolution, you know, we had to always put ourselves in better situations. We always had to look for, when are we next, you know, gonna eat? Where are we gonna sleep? Like, we're always like thinking the next thing, like
Hmm.
the next best thing for us. And I feel like that's just, without it, you would have died. You know?
Yeah.
Without it, you would have fought ahead. You would have just run out of resources and just not passed on your genetic material. So yeah.
It's funny that you said that, because I just, even though I'm so curious about the human experience, as it were, I'm so invested in the theoretical conversations and topics over the actual scientific and biological explanations. Like,
Really?
I love open-ended discussion, like, over a straightforward answer, which is why I probably don't like psychology, because it's like, it's open-ended in terms of the different theories, and you can really never truly say that it's this that's causing this. You have to continually say, oh, this is a factor, but there's also this, and you've got to link them all, you know, in an interweaving web almost. But it's still so
Yeah.
that, you know, like a final say really over something like sociology, which is open-ended discussion and debate, which is just my forte.
You prefer that?
Yeah, because I think that's how progress is actually made. I mean, obviously on top of scientific discovery, but I leave you guys to do you, and I'll be in the corner that, you know, seeks out open-ended discussion and opinions, and gauge off of that.
I'm a very scientific guy myself.
Yeah,
I prefer like logic, I think. But that's just your.
I'm spiritual, and
that's just your intellectual.
you know,
just like,
that's daisical.
You like intuition. You like just thinking and not necessarily following a traditional like thought route.
I'm very unconventional. Yeah.
No, it's not bad. Not bad at all.
It is when you go back into A levels. Oh my god, Jesus Christ, mate! The amount of stuff they limit you on, like,
oh yeah,
I'm doing work and they're like, you know, it's really good, but the mark scheme.
Yeah.
I don't care about the mark scheme. I know I should. I know I need to actually do well, but it's such a, oh mate, it's like a bubble, isn't it? And you can't
just following
actually
the same
escape.
structure, and if it doesn't fall into the structure, it's like no
Yep.
marks. It's stupid.
And it's so funny because it's 2 years and then you're at university, but for those 2 years I'm constantly trying to like just fight back against it.
You know, for EPQ, I didn't know there was a mark scheme. I did it without any structure or anything. I just wrote.
Yeah.
I wrote 5,000 words.
Really?
On my own topics and subjects, and I got a C.
You got to.
Whereas someone like my girlfriend, she followed the structure completely. She got like a B.
Really?
And she wrote hers in like literally a few weeks, whereas I spent time on mine. It's so stupid, but
It is.
like,
I mean, it's the most clear example of how school just limits creativity, isn't it?
Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, I did start writing about like Jurassic World. And stuff, but, hey, it was about genetic engineering.
And you were passionate about it, and it probably all came together cohesively. It was just, you know, not what they wanted.
To be honest, I enjoyed it.
That was
my favourite part of A-levels. You should do it.
I'm definitely doing an EPQ, yeah. Although it will definitely not be structured either, so see how that goes.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah. What do you think about grades determine what uni you go to? And that's a crazy concept to me.
I think it's very silly. I think the idea of exams is silly. I mean, you sit in a hall in silence with 200, 300 other people on a small desk while some old people walk up and down single file in lines for these 2 to 3 hours looking over at you, and you have to sit there writing and just be like, yeah, this is really totally normal, isn't it? I mean, it
If you
is
put it like that,
it's the
yeah.
most bizarre
I mean,
thing.
we had mock exams to prepare us, you know. There's one or
That-
two occasions.
it's so bizarre, isn't it? I
is.
mean, in today's day and age, and especially, it feels so archaic. And the fact that you could be excelling for 2 years in a subject and like continually doing well, only for a 3-hour paper to literally determine the rest of your life, to me is utterly insane.
Yeah, definitely.
I call our school year the year that got forgot. Like, we were the forgotten year, the first ever
nothing
year
ever happened,
that
just-
got our GCSEs cancelled in the 190 years that they'd been doing it.
Oh,
The
yeah.
first ever year that, didn't get a prom since they started doing proms. It was just our development just came through at the worst possible time, really, didn't it? I
It
mean,
was the worst age to have COVID. I know a lot of like adults complain like, oh my god, like they had to work from home. Like it's a lot of people liked it, and it infuriates me. I see a lot of people online just saying like, oh, I wish COVID came back so I can just not go into work, blah blah. Blah. But you do not understand how much it affected young people. And young people do not have a voice on the internet, and that's what really annoys me. Young people are not taken seriously. Like all the people, all the millennials out there, young people do not have a voice online. They're not taken seriously. They are just completely like suffocated and just suppressed in society, and it really annoys me. Like you cannot vote until you're 18. Some people get their maturity at much younger ages than that.
yeah, life experiences, right?
And we don't get to we don't get to anything about politics, anything about something that really matters until you're older. Like we are so suppressed, and it annoys me so much that we don't have a voice.
Yeah.
I feel like this is why I want to do this, to be able to just help people and just like me sitting in front of a camera, editing myself because I started doing that. I'm just like, god damn, I'm just like a 19, 20-year-old guy. Like, what am I doing in my life? Like, who's gonna take me seriously? And that is like such a
Depressing thought to
It
actually
is,
have.
yeah.
Do you think wealth makes a person less whole?
What do you mean by less whole?
Do you think the innate human experience requires struggle? And to struggle, do you think you need to come from a background that enables you to indeed climb your way to a certain level of success?
I mean, I feel like even wealthy people struggle.
What's
Just
a
with
different type
things.
of struggle, right?
Like with relationships, friendships, love, career, and
But to
everything
see
like
people, at the bottom of society
that. Yeah.
who have the same problems as those with money, they're just lacking money itself. It's
It's just an
another
added.
it's an added issue of it,
added
but
issue.
especially considering that money rules the world. You know,
Yeah.
I think it creates. I don't know. Maybe I'm saying this because I'm not necessarily as wealthy as a lot of other people. I mean, I'm by no means poor,
Yeah.
but I'm by no means wealthy. So
Yeah, I think.
you know,
Yeah, that's.
I feel like it
same
creates a
as-
healthy balance, and I think being able to see both sides enables you to become more whole. I'm saying this because the other week I was having a conversation, and it was just like, the kids that you see on uni campuses espousing, ideals that are just so unrealistic
Yeah.
in their expectations. I mean, I know we were talking about delusion and how nothing's truly delusional because it's all a point of view, but the people that don't really understand what it is that they're truly talking about.
Yeah. Oh no, like, you can be oblivious.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I think that comes with being, or just having it easy in general, like never actually truly having to understand others' point of
Yeah.
views because you don't need to.
See, I believe like before you were born, you choose the experiences you want to live. You choose basically like when you log onto a video game. Essentially, you're choosing difficulty. You're choosing what you want to struggle with and what kind of experiences you want to live. And you chose this exact life that you chose. You chose the struggles that you want to struggle with. And I did the same, and the rich kids did the same as well. That's the idea behind reincarnation, is you're not essentially being reincarnated into the, in chronological order, like the next baby, when you die, the next baby that's born, that's actually you. Everyone is connected, me and you are both connected, and it's just an alternate experience we're living. And all these experiences we're collecting, we take up, essentially, to, you know, a bigger thing, and we're contributing this life. You're contributing to something massive.
The vines are off camera, hidden behind the desk. Is it like a whole bunch of vines, or is it just a singular, just a little strand? You know.